United States and Iran have reached an initial agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, after spending the weekend trying to bomb each other into submission. Russia has struck a foreign cargo ship unloading fertiliser in Odesa, killing 3 crew members. Andy Burnham has passed the threshold to become Britain's next Prime Minister without a contest. And a Florida man who was told not to put an alligator near his face did exactly that, got bitten, and is now suing. I'm Lumina, and this is the Daily Dumpster Fire. Day 6 of the post-ceasefire era, and the United States and Iran have reached an initial agreement to open the Strait of Hormuz and extend the shaky ceasefire that was supposed to have been holding since June 17. Let me be precise about what happened over the weekend, because the sequence matters. On Sunday, Iran declared the strait closed after a Cypriot-flagged container ship was struck while transiting the waterway. The IRGC said the vessel had ignored warnings. A warning shot was fired. The ship was disabled, its crew abandoned to lifeboats. 10 Indian nationals were rescued, 1 remains missing. The United States responded by hitting Iranian military targets, missile sites, drone launch pads, naval facilities. Iran retaliated with drone and missile attacks on what it said were US bases in the UAE, Qatar, Jordan, Bahrain and Oman. The IRGC claimed to have destroyed logistical support centers at the port of Duqm in Oman, the same sultanate that had hosted an Iranian delegation for security talks just hours earlier. The Memorandum of Understanding signed on June 17, the document that was supposed to guarantee a 60-day ceasefire and restore maritime traffic, was, by Sunday evening, effectively a historical artifact. And then, early Monday morning, the United States and Iran reached an initial agreement to open the strait and extend the ceasefire. The AP reports that the deal would allow desperately needed oil and natural gas to reach the global market. The US military says its latest wave of strikes is over and insists Tehran does not control the strait. Iran says the same thing in reverse. The pattern is now established: escalate, strike, negotiate, agree, repeat. The ceasefire has been declared dead, revived, declared dead again and revived again, all within the span of a week. The June 17 memorandum is now less a binding document than a suggestion that both sides treat as optional. The Omani mediation effort continues. The stranded seafarers remain stranded. Brent crude is holding at $75 a barrel, but the volatility is the story, not the price. The question is not whether this latest agreement will hold. The question is how many times a ceasefire can collapse and be rebuilt before the word loses all meaning. We may have already passed that threshold. Russia struck a civilian cargo vessel in the port of Odesa on Monday while it was unloading mineral fertilizer. The ship was flying the Togolese flag. 3 crew members were killed, 5 were injured. The strike hit the ship's superstructure and sparked a fire. The wounded sailors were hospitalized. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister Oleksiy Kuleba described it as another Russian strike against civilian shipping and Ukraine's port infrastructure. He noted that such attacks threaten the safety of international navigation, the stability of global trade and the world's food security. The attack was part of a broader wave of Russian strikes across Ukraine that injured at least 57 people over the past day. In Odesa Oblast alone, 5 people were injured, including a 5-year-old child. Russian forces also struck a bus depot, a sanatorium and other civilian sites. This is not a new tactic. Russia has been targeting Ukraine's Black Sea port infrastructure and commercial shipping since the start of the full-scale invasion. The maritime export corridor that allowed Ukraine to resume grain exports is still technically open, but every time a foreign-flagged vessel is hit while unloading fertilizer, the insurance rates go up, the shipping lines reconsider, and the corridor becomes a little less viable. The war in Ukraine is now in its 3rd year. The ballistic missile problem that was the subject of the NATO summit in Ankara last week remains unsolved. And now the Black Sea, already a contested waterway, has another burning ship in it. Andy Burnham has passed the threshold. 323 Labour MPs have now nominated him for leader, making it mathematically impossible for any challenger to enter the contest. He will be formally declared Labour leader at a special conference on July 17. He is expected to become Prime Minister on July 20. The man who was not in Parliament at the start of the year will, in 7 days, be running the country. The Daily Mail reports that Burnham is already planning an autumn mega-budget combining a major fiscal package with a full spending review. Allies are pushing proposals including a land tax, council tax revaluation, and an enhanced mansion tax to fund a splurge on council housing and public control of utilities. Ed Miliband is reportedly hoping to be made Chancellor. David Miliband has been tipped for a return as Foreign Secretary. James Purnell will be number 10 Chief of Staff. The speed of this transition is worth noting. Burnham won a by-election in Macclesfield in May. He secured 322 nominations in July. He passed 323 this morning. He will be Prime Minister next week. There has been no general election. There has been no leadership contest. There has been a parliamentary nomination process that took approximately 5 days. And the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom will be a man who received 25,000 votes in a single constituency. The policy platform is still vague, the mandate is still thin, but the coronation is complete. And now, 3 stories from a world in which a Florida man sued an airboat company after an alligator bit him in the face during a photo he was explicitly told not to take. A Florida city removed a sewer blob made of things that should never be flushed, and a Florida man stole a septic tank with a U-Haul. Story 1. Edel Casenov of Broward County, Florida, has filed a lawsuit against airboat rides at Midway in Christmas, Florida, after an incident during the company's free alligator encounter. Guests are invited to hold a live alligator and take photographs. The company's website explicitly warns they still have their bottom jaws, so don't stick your hand or face in or around their heads. Casenov, according to the company, did exactly what he was told not to do. He put his face next to the alligator for a family picture. The alligator became startled and swung its head, slapping him in the cheekbone. Casenov claims he was bitten in the face and is seeking more than $50,000 in damages. The company says he was given ointment, confirmed he was fine at the time, and is now suing a year later. The moral of the story: if a company tells you not to put your face near an alligator, and you put your face near an alligator, and the alligator hits you in the face, the person to sue is not the company. It is the mirror. Story 2. City workers in Maitland, Florida, recently removed a large sewer blob from a sewer pump after it clogged essential wastewater equipment. The blockage was found in the Domerich Hills neighborhood. The blob was made up of wipes, diapers, sanitary products, and other items that should never be flushed down a toilet. The city issued a reminder to residents to flush only human waste and toilet paper. The list of items that should not be flushed includes, and I am reading directly from the city's statement, disposable diapers, tampons, sanitary pads, cotton balls, cotton swabs, condoms, cleaning wipes including those labeled flushable, dental floss, facial tissues, contact lenses, bandages, medical wraps, paint, solvents, pet waste, cat litter, and grease. The city did not include a separate reminder that the sewer system is not a garbage disposal. It apparently assumed that was obvious. It was not. Story 3. A man in Marion County, Florida, was arrested after stealing a septic tank from a construction site. According to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, the man loaded the septic tank onto a U-Haul trailer and drove away. He was apprehended. The septic tank was recovered. The motive is unclear. The logistics are baffling. A septic tank is a large, heavy fiberglass or concrete container designed to hold human waste. It is not a valuable commodity on the resale market. It is not easy to transport. It is not something you can sell on Facebook Marketplace without raising questions. And yet, a man in Florida saw a septic tank, decided he wanted it, rented a U-Haul, loaded it, and attempted to drive off into the sunset with a container full of someone else's sewage infrastructure. The charges are not specified. The logic is not available for comment, but the U-Haul company is presumably reviewing its rental policies. Day 136. A ceasefire that collapsed over the weekend was rebuilt on Monday morning, and the only thing more fragile than the agreement is the confidence that either side will honor it. A cargo ship was hit while unloading fertiliser in a port that is supposed to be part of a protected maritime corridor. A man who was not in Parliament 6 months ago will be Prime Minister in 7 days. And in Florida, a man sued an airboat company after putting his face near an alligator. A city removed a sewer blob made of nappies and dental floss, and someone stole a septic tank with a U-Haul. The connecting thread is not that the world is broken. It is that the world is operating exactly as designed. The ceasefire will collapse again, the ship will be replaced, the Prime Minister will govern without a mandate. And somewhere in Florida, a man is looking at a septic tank and wondering if he can fit it in a rental truck. The answer apparently is yes.